The conversation goes like this. I talked to my cousin and he used X, Y, or Z and he swears by it. And so I want that too. This is a conversation that plays out thousands of times a day. Not necessarily always in my realm, but more often than not it does. And I wanted to shed some light on that in this video. What works for one person does not necessarily work for another person. And this is an educational video. It's not advice. As always, consult your doctor. Everybody's situation, past history, medications, allergies, and physiology are all unique and individual, and trying to apply a blanket statement about one medication across a wide spectrum of ages, body types, underlying health conditions is a recipe for disaster. But one point that I do want to offer up for information is some basic differences between the drugs that are commonly used in the realm of erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, PE. The first is Viagra, or sildenafil, which is the active ingredient in it. It's also known by other names like Revasio for other purposes. But this drug typically lasts about 4 to 6 hours for most people, needs to be taken on an empty stomach, and should not be combined with alcohol. Common side effects like stuffy nose, flushing, headache, heartburn, occasionally some aches and pains are relatively common. This is covered in another video here that you can find. The contrary is Cialis, or tadalafil, the generic version of that. This drug, even though it's generic in the US, is still quite expensive. There are coupons or discounts or pharmacy promotions that can be had for a person who's willing to do some research. There are some warehouses that can be utilized to transfer prescriptions to in the US to ship to. I can't speak for Canada or other countries. And with that in mind, when a prescription is generated from a US-based pharmacy, there are a variety of safeguards and standards that apply to that. When it comes from somewhere else, the statement I often offer up is all bets are off. There's really no prediction about what's in there, how much is in there, whether it's regulated, whether it's even what is supposed to be in the package. That said, some people will respond to one medication and not the other. A brother may respond to one and another brother may not. It's not always predictable. We're on the cusp of understanding a lot more in terms of pharmacogenomics. There are a variety of drugs that can be mapped out and predicted whether or not they are going to work, or if they're going to be metabolized in an unusual manner, or if it might set up a person for particular side effects. I haven't seen any data on this in terms of the, quote, lifestyle medications, but I'm sure we'll get there with AI and technology and the ease of genetic testing. This is something that will be very interesting to see as it evolves as we move forward into the realm of personalized medicine. That said, there are a variety of reasons why a medication may not work. A person may be taking it with food when it needs to be taken on an empty stomach. They may be confusing what an empty stomach actually means. Timing of it with meals, fat content of foods, whether it's taken with other prescription drugs, combined with alcohol, combined with illicit substances, taken when a person is sick or dehydrated. There are so many factors that go into it that it really behooves a person to discuss this with their prescribing provider to get a better handle on why it's not doing the job it's done. Also keep in mind that it does take time for the body to respond. There's some data out there that it can take up to 8 uses of certain ED medications for the body to adapt or respond appropriately. So it's not uncommon for people to try it once or twice and say, this is sugar pill, it doesn't work, I want my money back, this is a ripoff, I don't know what's in here, and it worked for my brother, why doesn't it work for me? And the risk of comparison to another person is often fraught with disaster. Obviously, there's water cooler talk or barstool talk where people are sharing anecdotal information that can be interpreted or misinterpreted and set people up for disastrous consequences. Like any medication, these drugs have side effects that are well known, and there are serious side effects that can be life-altering, like vision loss, hearing loss, priapism, things like that. So encourage you to talk to your provider, share your concerns, be honest about your past history, current health, medications, lifestyle choices, drug use, alcohol use. All those things are highly relevant in the decision-making process when trying to decide whether or not to switch to a different medication. I want you to come away from this video with some information to carry forth a more educated and intelligent conversation, drilling down into the pertinence of when to switch or why to consider switching, and to discuss this openly and honestly with your prescribing provider. Don't go this alone. Don't make choices on your own unilaterally. Your health could be at stake. Hope you found that helpful. Be safe, be well.